separate rooms and beds.
My family's here.
Yeah, my family didn't want to come. No. More of my family is coming into town, so my family didn't want to come down here.
But when you stumble upon a snake, like the other day on the set of Buddy System, there was a big crowd of people, and I was like, oh, am I in the wrong place? They must be shooting over there. So I went over there, and then all of a sudden, like one of the guys like pulled off a snake that was this long, and it was one of those non-poisonous types. I guess he knew that, and he was the most popular guy in the whole zone. And I'd love to be able to bring that to somebody. It's like, you know what? If you got the guts to pick me up, you can be the most popular person in the zone. For a day.
That's a weird reason to want to be a snake. So you can make a dude feel good because he picks you up in front of a group of people?
Yeah.
Ah, you're an empath. I'm an empath.
What would you be?
Anything? I could be anything?
For one day.
I would be the atmosphere. I could experience all things on Earth
at once.
Being breathed in and breathed out. Farted out, too. I haven't thought through this. I should have thought about this before I answered the question. I don't know. I think I want to be omnipresent. I think that's what I just realized. I think I have
God.
Yeah, I think I got something wrong with me. I'm reading a book about how the ego is bad, though. You should be happy about that.
I am happy about it. Start applying it. Then I'd be really happy. Next question. Penguin in a Pumpkin asks, how much do you exaggerate the grossness of food for entertainment?
This is a question that many of you may have wondered about. I actually have a friend of mine who, my friend of mine, she teaches a Pilates class that I'm in.
Don't be friends with your Pilates instructor.
Well, I was just trying
you don't want that kind of
I was just trying to cover.
Okay, so
my Pilates instructor.
She's just total Pilates instructor.
Who has children.
Nothing else.
Right. And she was talking about, oh, I finally figured out what you do. My kids showed me your videos.
Because you didn't tell them.
No. I don't have an ego. I don't tell people what I do. I just want to be the atmosphere.
I don't have an ego. I just want to be omnipresent.
I told, just throughout the earth, not throughout the universe.
Okay.
So I told her, so she's like, we were watching one of your episodes where you ate something, fill in the blank, whatever. And my kids were like, ooh, it's so gross, can you believe they do that? And she was like, she's like a former actress, so she's kind of done the show business thing, and she was like, guys, this is entertainment, they're not actually eating that. She got into an argument with her kids about whether or not we actually eat the things that we eat. She was like, they don't have to. Think about it. They don't have to eat the things because the people watching can't smell it. They can't see it. You guys could probably retch things up on command, right? And I was like, we couldn't get away with that. It's all real, and she still doesn't believe me.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, maybe she's onto something.
I was like, yeah, right. Exactly. I was like,
we do it, y'all. We go all the way.
Yeah. The difference, and I think that's the difference between traditional entertainment and entertainment, is that obviously some people fake internet videos. That does happen, right? But
no.
But it never crossed our minds that we wouldn't actually do it for real. But I think you guys would know if we weren't doing it for real. I think you'd pick up on it.
Well, I have to bring all of my acting efforts together and bundle it up and save it for
the summer
when we do Buddy System.
Right.
I can't waste any acting ability on anything else.
Right. We don't have a whole lot to go around, so you have to concentrate it and spew it out during the summer.
Right. So then the rest of the year, I just legitimately spew stuff out.
Right.
Next question, shall we?
Yeah. This is from Chloe Blustery Link. Used to be a fan of yours. How do you know?
She looks just like me in her
yeah, she does.
Twitter icon.
How do you know when the wisest time is to risk stability in order to pursue a creative yet risky dream?
Risk is in this one twice. How do I know when to take a risk for a creative dream. Okay, so this is a serious one. Let's try to give a serious answer.
Let's get serious.
I think for our experience was when we were presented with a specific opportunity that we felt like we couldn't say no to, then it was a foregone conclusion we had to give up something, our current job, in order to take that new job opportunity. I mean, in retrospect, it wasn't the greatest opportunity ever, but without that, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are. That opportunity was hosting a show called Online Nation in 2007. And we knew that in order to fly out to LA every few weeks and shoot episodes of this show where we basically introduced internet videos, we were like Bob Saget on America's Funniest Home Videos, or
Tom Bergeron.
Now it's who is it now? It's
Alfonso.
Carlton. We're basically Carlton Alfonso for
They
internet
just went
videos.
through 3 generations of AFB hosts.
Yeah, we did.
I love it when that kind of thing happens.
And we were never in the running for any of them, but
No.
we were in the running for a rip-off version of it on the CW called Online Nation,
Right.
which only lasted a few weeks. But we didn't know that. We were like, we got to take this job. This is like the biggest opportunity we have. We have to actually be television hosts. It's still related to internet video, which is the thing we're trying to do. But we can't still do our current job, so we had to quit. So in our minds, it was a huge decision, but it wasn't one of those things. We didn't make the decision that I think a lot of people in LA make. It's like, okay, I want to move out in order to hopefully create an opportunity. And I respect everyone who makes those type of choices, whether it's entertainment related or whatever your dream may be. But for us, I think it was later. I mean, we had families, we had a lot of responsibility. We had a life that we were risking. So it took a lot more to put us over the edge.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say...
But it was a specific opportunity. It wasn't just a chance to create an opportunity.
Right, but I wouldn't say that it was necessarily wise. So I think that, honestly, I mean, taking a risk isn't always wise. I mean, sometimes the wisdom would be to just stay in whatever is going to take care of your family, but that's not always the best decision. I mean, we did something very practically. We weren't going to do something that ultimately put things at risk, but from just a complete stability and predictability standpoint, our lives would be more predictable and stable if we were still engineers. That's a fact, right?
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that was the right thing to do. So I think that...
And we didn't have a solid plan B when we took the hosting job on Online Nation.
No.
Because, we saw the writing on the wall when we saw the show. We were like, this is going to get canned quick.
Yeah, right.
It's not our fault.
It was very bad. Very, very bad. I think you can still find some of that on the internet. Don't search it, but...
I think if you search Online Nation canceled, there was a video that we made afterward, which basically encapsulates how we had to immediately start to figure out what we were doing.
But I don't think it's always the wisest decision. I think there's sometimes that you put yourself in a situation where you know it's what you want to do. It's not, we're not saying whether it's right or wrong. It's just like, I feel like I am made to do this. This is a great opportunity. I want to do this. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's wise, but it still may be the thing that you should do. But there's a lot of people who make those kinds of decisions. In fact, the majority of people who make decisions to drop one thing to pursue a risky dream, by definition, don't succeed at it because it's a risky dream. That's what makes it risky.
But it should be a calculated risk, and you should calculate. I guess that's part of the advice is calculate as much as you can.
What if you don't know how to do math?
Well, then
you're screwed. So keep your calculator with you at all times. Take calculated risks and you'll be okay.
But if there's something that you can't not do and then live with yourself, then do it so you can live, try it so you can live with yourself. I hope that makes sense.
It's kind of the same principle that applies when you're trying to figure out whether or not you're in love with somebody. And you're like, I don't know if I should be, if we should get married, or, you know, this relationship should become more serious. It's not like, I know that you like to sit down and make like a pro-con. I did make a pro-con list about my wife at one point. I did do that. And then she found out I got married. She was like, you don't like my voice? It's like, why'd you go read that? I love your voice, baby. It's changed since we dated. It drops.
Oh!
No. I don't know why I said that. But you can't get too, and when you're talking about passion, you're talking about dreams, you can't, it's not formulaic, it isn't mathematical. That's just not how life works. And if you go after something and it doesn't work, then life's not over, you restart and you try something again. It doesn't mean that the dream has to work in order to, knowing that it's going to work, that's not how you figure out whether you're going to pursue it or not.
Well, we sacrificed our jobs to take this new hosting job. Then it got canned because it sucked, and then we had to start over with an entirely new career, which was a key point that we would never have gotten to do what we're able to do now,
right,
if it wasn't for taking that risk and then it failing.
Right, it's all part of it. How about a serious, even more serious question?
Kaboom Fantastic asks, do you like pizza?
Yeah.
I like pizza.
Yeah.
Not as much as my wife. She loves some pizza. She bought a float, a pool float, that was a slice of pizza.
You can't eat that.
No, but that's how much she loves pizza. She did eat it.
And it's still around?
No, she ate it. No, we jumped on it 3 times and it was gone.
Yeah, pool floats don't work in my family.
Michelle McNeil asks, how long are the new format GMM episodes going to be? 22 minutes like a standard TV show? Could y'all tell us more about it?
We would be happy to tell you more about that. So this is something that some of you may have heard about. It's been, publicly announced in like industry publications and stuff like that. So maybe you didn't know. So GMM is going to be bigger and better in the fall. And yeah, you can cheer for that. So the very cool thing is happening. Now there are 2 different programs that YouTube is doing to help creators like us finance content. And one is YouTube Red Originals like Buddy System, which of course is YouTube Red shows where you pay the monthly subscription fee and you get all the YouTube Red Originals and no ads and Google Music and all that stuff, which we definitely think is worth it. You should do. But then there's YouTube Originals, which is free YouTube, just like Good Mythical Morning is now ad-supported YouTube, that they're also investing into some creators like us to help us do even more. So starting in the fall, we don't know exactly when this will happen, but before the end of the year, we are going to take GMM to a place where you're getting more Good Mythical Morning every single day. Not just the one segment like, typically right now we'll do like, will it, whatever, and that's the episode for that day. In the fall, there's going to be a handful of things that we do every single day that you can sit down and enjoy as a approximately 22-minute experience every single day, but you'll also be able to enjoy the individual pieces of that. So you guys may remember years ago the Mythical Show that we did, a half-hour comedy, which was, I think we did like 10 or 12 episodes of that, but it was one really long video, that like a 30-minute video that you could choose to watch that or not. One of the cool, innovative things that we're trying to do with the new Good Mythical Morning is still give you that individual video experience. You can be like, this video is about this thing and I can share that, but you can also make the decision every single day to say, I'm going to watch this episode of Good Mythical Morning, which in reality will be a handful of videos together.
That's another piece of ticker tape. Wasn't it great how that was just floating in the atmosphere?
Now this one is distinctly different than the one we caught on stage with Susan.
Yeah.
This one has a matte finish. So now I know a second clue about the confetti celebration that will happen at the end of VidCon. There will be both white matte finished confetti, and silver confetti.
You sure
You're welcome. It also makes a good oil blotter.
Oil blotter. Lily asks, will you bring back characters like Rabbit Lightning in the fall when you do some bigger things with GWM? Yeah, we're figuring our plan out now. You know, we're starting to percolate the ideas, but in general, I think our approach is going to be, we've done so many things, you know, character work, music stuffs, you know,
music stuff,
like songs, sketches, local commercials. We've done all types of stuff on YouTube over the years, and so we got this grab bag, this like toolbox that we're pretty certain we're going to open back up and say, okay, now that we have the opportunity to create more videos and segments of the show every day, okay, now what can we start putting into that? So it's not, maybe everything's not behind the desk. So bringing Rabbit Lightning back is a
distinct
possibility.
Yeah. But that is something
but we're figuring it all out.
Yeah. We're at this point we know sort of the format in terms of that we're going to do multiple segments, but we're right in the middle of shooting Buddy System. We've got another 4 weeks of shooting Buddy System, and while that's going on, it's, you know, it's a 13-hour day every day basically. So there's nothing else that's happening except shooting Buddy System. But as soon as that is over, we may take a short vacation. We're trying to do that. And then we'll get back to GMM as you know it, but we'll also get back to planning what the new GMM is going to look like.
I think for us, we like to do new projects, and Good Mythical Morning is so important to us and to you guys. So what's particularly exciting about what we're going to be doing with GMM in the fall is that it's a fresh new approach to it, and I think if we succeed at kind of turning this corner in terms of making it bigger and better and longer, I don't know, maybe it'll shape the face of entertainment.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
In terms of longer form content that's just out there on YouTube for everybody to enjoy.
Well, I think that the sort of the philosophy behind YouTube's investment in Good Mythical Morning is you've got these guys like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, James Corden, you know, the late night guys who,
right.
If you go to the trending page, you're going to see with the stuff that they've done, you're going to see carpool karaoke. It's going to go viral every time James Corden does it. And
they think about tailoring parts of their show so that you'll watch it and share it on YouTube.
We know that for a fact from people who work on those shows, that they think about their show as it will exist on YouTube. It's much less now about the people sitting down and watching that hour-long show every night, and it's much more valuable and important that they are relevant online and that there's pieces of the show that are going viral. So the idea behind GMM 22 is like, okay, well, we've been in this space for a number of years, and you know, the people who are also enjoying those videos are enjoying the things that we're doing, but what if we had, not exactly, but similar resources that they do in order to invest in the stuff that we want to do? What could we accomplish? And
when you think about YouTube first, and it's
right.
it's not just an afterthought or a thought for pieces of something. Hit me with another question.
Lenora Shore asks, how does one stay young at heart, especially as you are nearing 40 years? She left out old, but
I appreciate
40
that.
years old.
She could have left out the 40 part too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to own that.
Well, I'm going to be there before you are. October 11th, 2017, I will turn 40.
Even the look on your face right now.
Amazing.
It's like the look of an old person. It's like it overtook you.
Yeah, well, Young at heart. Well, before we get to young at heart, I will say, I haven't, just at the advice of, well, this actually happened the other day. On the set of Buddy System, the makeup girl, one of the makeup girls, Rachel, I stepped into the chair and she was like,
We step into our chairs. They're like hot tubs. You like have to crawl inside of it.
she said, you want me to put some of these under your eyes this morning?
Ooh.
I was like, what do you mean these? And then she held them up and there were these little things that you, and I was like, do you think I need them? And she said, yeah, you could use them.
But we've gotten pretty close with the makeup and hair.
Oh, you want them to be very honest with you.
So it's like, so we can have open, honest conversation. So she wasn't being cruel.
No, she was being helpful.
honest.
She was being very helpful.
Yes, she was.
Because I'm gonna see myself on screen and be like, why didn't you tell me about the little things that I could put under my eyes that I didn't know about?
So did she put something under there?
She did, and then after that, last weekend when I went home, she gave me something else. She gave me a whole face mask thing.
Oh, I got one of those too.
Dr. Wu.
Yeah.
I got Dr. Wu all over my face.
Yeah.
On the weekends.
It's like a slimy thing with eye holes and a nose hole.
Yeah, I've seen my wife wear those. I didn't know they were for men.
That's sexist.
I put one on, and of course I have a beard. And so it just kind of attached to the top of my face, and then the bottom just like hung off. It looked like a Pirates of the Caribbean villain.
I did the exact same thing, and I come out into the bedroom, and I'm like, Chrissy's in there, and Lily was in there, and I was like, They weren't too afraid. But because of the mustache and I hadn't shaved it, it was like flapping down here. It was like my face was sloughing off.
Right.
You know how your face can slough off?
Yeah, it can.
That happened. I sat in the makeup chair, and I was in the hair chair yesterday, and I was shirtless because we were doing a spa scene, and Anna had trimmed my hair because it's supposed to, over the course of Buddy System, it has to stay the same length.
Do you have a power bank?
Keep it consistent.
All right.
And once I took my
Don't look. I should have pointed. It's literally impossible to catch it before it hits the ground. It doesn't matter how hard you try. We're never going to actually catch one. Is somebody up there dropping them?
Could a 40-year-old guy do that? I didn't catch it. I was like, you trimmed my neck when I had my shirt on, but now that my shirt's off, I need to go a little lower. And then she looked at my shoulder blade. It's like,
Yeah, I know where it
this
is.
bump right here on both of my collarbones.
Yeah.
And she touched it. She said, when did this happen?
At birth.
Yeah, I was like, I was born this way.
Yeah, it's always been that way, man.
She was like, oh, my brother broke his collarbone, and that's what it looks like. It's like, if you got to have people in your life who can just give it to you straight. You know, it's like your collarbone looks janked up, like it is broke. Like, you might need to have some sort of, like, get a muscle up there or something.
So we're staying young at face because of Dr. Wu. Shout out, not a sponsor. don't even know him or her. And but young at heart, I think
it's all about attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna have to wear the face mask or the bags under the anti-bag thing, then you should come out of your bathroom and go, and that evens it all out. You know?
Yeah. Well,
young at heart.
Excuse me.
We actually have, there's a chapter in the book of Mythicality available for pre-order. Actually available for pre-order at bookofmythicality.com, but available, who's been to the Mythical booth? Okay. And who's pre-ordered the book at the booth? Okay, so you guys know the cool little gift
Oh, do
package
you
you
also
can get.
have
You
a
get the
charger
booklet
for
with
iPhone?
mythicality, you
I'll
get
send.
like a door hanger and a note. There's all this cool mythical themed stuff that you get in this packet you pre-order here.
Thanks.
And each one of those things, as you'll see once the book comes out, kind of ties into a different aspect of mythicality that we flesh out in the book. And one of those is embracing maturity. We talk about, you know, obviously we're not. It's pretty clear that we do some really stupid stuff on the mythical morning. Stuff that grown men shouldn't be doing.
It's a matter of opinion.
And that is actually a part, I think that ties into this question actually. This embrace immaturity thing. I think that's one of the ways that we stay young at heart is never completely growing up. You gotta grow up and you gotta move out of your parents' house. Okay, that needs to happen at some point. You need to take financial responsibility for yourself. We've done that. But if you think and start taking yourself too seriously and every part of you grows up, like what's the point, right? And so there's got to be that party that remains a child and can unabashedly enjoy things like bathing in cereal or ranch dressing or chicken noodle soup. There's been a few things that we've bathed in. And that's why we're bathing in cereal on the cover of the Book of Mythicality, because we thought that that was a perfect way to illustrate that embracing of immaturity, that's kind of the tomfoolery aspect of mythicality that we want all of our stuff to do. We don't ever want anything we do to be anybody to get the idea that we take ourselves too seriously, or we want you to take us too seriously. But there's a whole chapter about that in the book.
A whole
chapter.
Yeah. Sam, cactus emoji, 17, asks, if you had to describe, like, cactus emojis are really going around these days. But is that an emoji? I'm not even using the word right. It's an icon. It's a picture. It's an internet picture.
It's an emoji.
Good. I was right. If you had to describe Buddy System Season 2 with one sentence, what would it be?
Oh, we debated whether or not we were going to reveal this.
Talk about, yeah, because we haven't talked about what Buddy System Season 2 is about. We have not told anyone the concept. Well, we've been shooting.
And everybody who's shooting.
No, we haven't.
With us.
A lot of them
told all them.
don't know what's going on.
They've seen the script.
The script exists. But yeah, we haven't publicly said what Buddy System Season 2 is about. We could tell.
Are we going to do that right now?
But we don't have to tell.
But we could reward the people who came out to the live beer biscuit. I think that would be an appropriate thing to do.
And those of you who are listening on your Cliffside Drive, who've made it this far.
Why's it got to be a cliffside?
It's beautiful. It's so scenic.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. Please.
So much atmosphere to the right.
Oh, so they're heading
south on the west coast.
Yes.
On the PCH.
Right. That's right. Of course, once you get to LA, it kind of skirts over a little bit, so technically you're looking like east, south, east, but you're heading east.
Yeah.
Because of the shape of California. But then when you get down to San Diego, it kind of starts straightening back out. And then once again, you would be looking east and heading south.
What were we talking about?
But then you get to the border, you gotta have your passport. You used to be able to not have to have your passport to get into Tijuana. Now you gotta have your passport.
Right, it's such a rigmarole.
We're giving a lot of advice to this person that's traveling to Tijuana. There's a guy right now listening to your biscuits and he's like at the border crossing. He's like, how do they know?
He's gripping his gas.
Should I not go into Tijuana now? Sir, turn back. It was a bad idea. Your brother-in-law talked you into this. Head back to the hotel now.
Let him walk across without you.
Play around the golf, Stuart. His name is Stuart.
Stuart, just keep listening to us. We're about to tell you what's happening in Buddy System Season 2.
Don't listen to Joel. Let Joel go to Tijuana by himself.
It's different than Season 1 in all the ways that you want it to be different than Season 1, but not in any of the ways you don't want it to be different than Season 1. You want it to be longer. Each episode is longer. But you want it to still have a musical number in each episode? Yes, it's still going to have a song in every episode. You want me to still be in it? Boom, I'm going to still be in it.
I'm not in it. That's the difference. It's all about length.
Finally.
This is the question that season 2 seeks to answer. What would it be like if the two of us had never met as kids?
But met as adults. So we still meet. So don't worry, we will still meet.
Does that sound exciting?
The thing that was exciting for us in writing it, if I just focus on like the conceptualization part of this thing, was first of all, when you have longer episodes, you're able to write more of a cohesive story. So each episode is its own journey. I mean, it's episodic in that way. But then when you look at the entire series, it really is about the journey of our friendship, starting from not having one to wherever it ends up, and it's not a linear path.
Right.
And I really enjoyed kind of digging into writing the relational dynamics between the two of us. I think we were able to dig into that a whole lot more. So it wasn't just about, wouldn't it be funny if the two of us did this and then did this and did this, but wouldn't it be interesting if we had conflict in this way, or if we encountered this problem in this way?
Right, because in season 1, it was the two of us solving one problem together, and in a lot of ways you could almost interchange. You could take those two and just dissolve them into one character, and you could tell the same story. That's definitely not the case in season 2, where it's very much about there being conflict and resolution and the building of a friendship between the two of us. And we actually brought in, for a number of reasons. One reason was, we wrote every bit of season 1 ourselves to kind of establish the template of what Buddy System was going to be. For season 2, going to 22-minute episodes, it's like about 250, 260 pages of script, which with everything that we have going on we can't do that. So we actually brought in some experienced showrunners and writers to work with us, and Link and I sort of conceptualized the show and what was going to happen, but they had some experience with helping us find the conflict and find those moments that I don't think typically we would have written, because we just are like, what's funny? This is funny.
And that's something that they didn't. That's something that happened in the room with us. It's not, it's not.
But they helped. They were there. Okay, so what? Now, why would you be mad? And a lot of it was based on things that are true about us. But the interesting thing is, because we are who we are because we met when we were 6 years old. In a lot of ways, our personalities and exactly, obviously what we're doing for a living is very much based on the fact that we met as kids. But it's also, whether it's your best friend or your spouse or a good friend or your family, they shape who you are.
Yeah.
And if you were raised in a different place, you would be a significantly different person. So we are kind of exploring one of the fun things about season 2 is like, what would Link be like if he never met me? Some of the ways that I feel like I temper him, and vice versa, the way that Link tempers me. So I think we're, in one sense,
or make each other better. I mean, temper. So it's like, what are our flaws as people? That, again, back to that point before, when you got to have people in your life that'll tell you like it is. I mean,
but if we were left to our own devices,
right?
That's really what season 2 is about, and there's a lot of humor that comes out of that, and there's a mustache too.
Yeah, I would have a mustache if we were not friends.
Right. And I would have I think, is it in the BTS video today? A man bun, yeah. Yeah, I have a man bun. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not because I think it's cool, it's because I think I might have one if I never met Link.
So it was fun to explore that. So I think as you watch Buddy System Season 2, there's a lot to learn about what we think we could have been if it wasn't for our friendship, and also a commentary on the other people that, it's a commentary on how people influence who you become. In a good way. It can bring the best out in you.
You're going to cry.
But you're mostly going to laugh.
Yeah, you're going to laugh more than you cry.
Yeah.
Rennie May asks, in 3 words, so as to keep the mystery, what's your favorite plot point in the new season of Buddy System?
3 words, plot point. Robot.
Nougat.
Murder. I think we just covered at least 3 plot points.
Yeah, that's really 3. Oh, no, 2 of them are tied. Actually, 2 of them are tied. Both robot and nougat are tied to murder.
Yes.
It's a dark season. It really is. It's a little dark.
And now that we're shooting this thing, because I mean, that was what I decided about writing, but now that we're shooting this thing, it's crazy. I mean, we just keep saying, this is crazy. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. It's like, this is awesome. It's perfect.
Yeah, but when other people...
It's not perfect. I don't know.
When other people laugh on set, you feel right about the choice.
But then you have to do it again because they laughed.
Yeah.
And they have to be quiet.
Okay. Derek Kane asks, you do a lot of experimentation. To what do you owe your curiosity? Is there someone who nurtured that in you?
Derek, I appreciate the question. Keying in on curiosity as one of the tenets of mythicality, along with creativity and tomfoolery. But, yeah, I think who is someone who nurtured that in us is certainly our friend Ben from grade school that we've mentioned in the past. And actually, the book of mythicality is dedicated to Ben and our friendship with him from grade school. He's no longer with us. He passed away years ago,
7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, but Ben was kind of, the 3 of us hung out a bunch growing up, and it was one of those things. This is before the internet and before phones. You had television with a few channels, and you had like your Nintendo at home. But Ben was always encouraging us to go outside and do something impossible. You'd be like, today we're going to dam the creek behind my house and then turn it into a fish pond.
And our response would always be, okay, yeah. But we'd be thinking, what? This is crazy. But we never tell Ben that. You're like, there's something about the way that Ben said, today we're going to fill in the blank.
And by the end of the day,
it inspired
dam the creek.
Yeah.
Like 3 beavers.
And he didn't know we could do it. We were all just very curious, what would it actually take to dam a creek?
And then we went and caught fish from the pond and brought them, put them in a bucket and put them into the fish pond. And then the next day it broke. But
yeah,
we had a dam for 1 day.
It became a creek again.
But then he would be like, today we're going to build an A-frame fort. And I remember thinking, what is he? I always acted like I knew what he was talking about. I was like, A-frame, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, one of those A-frames. I have no idea what he's talking about. I understand now that if you look at it from the side, it's an A. But we made a fort, and then he was like, we're going to make a thatched mud roof with straw and mud.
He was like that primitive camping guy.
Yeah.
Primitive, what's it called on the YouTube channel?
There's
primitive technology.
Yeah, he was like that. That guy is inspired by Ben. And we would do that, and then we would like camp in it that night. But then one day he was like, we're going to cut the stalks of this dried plant and smoke it. Remember that? That was a weird day. He called it Big George. It was like bamboo that had like a foam inside of it, and it would get dry. And he cut it into small pieces, and then we started smoking it.
Well, I wouldn't say smoke it. I would say we light the end of it.
It was like
and pantomime smoking.
No, I mean we tried to breathe it in, and it was uncontrollable coughing, and then we were like, we're never doing that again.
Yeah.
Then he encouraged experimentation.
And
our whole life philosophy is based on it.
It didn't have to work out in order for it to be an experience. I mean, we go through the woods, and you pass these vines hanging from trees all the time. But then he was curious, and he was like, what if we took my machete, which I always carry with me,
yeah, right,
and chopped the bottom of it, and then we were like Tarzan. We swung from every vine between here and the Cape Fear River.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so he had this sense of adventure and this willingness to try something and to kind of be the one who came up with the idea and then got other people to do it. And he's the embodiment of mythicality a lot of ways for us. So we dedicated the book to Ben, but we actually didn't talk much about Ben in the book because we've got a lot of Ben stories that we want to save for something else. Because there's plenty of stories about us and the things that we did, but a lot of that is based on that spirit of mythicality that we didn't even understand or could identify at the time when it was happening. That Ben exhibited.
Let's see, next question. Heather Snow asks, I love tattoos. I have 9. Good on you, girl. Want to get another? Any suggestions? Maybe a mythical tattoo. Love you and the mythical crew, especially Alex. The whole time I'm talking to you, I keep accidentally looking at Alex.
She didn't even say that, though.
Yeah.
She just said it because...
Sorry, Alex. She didn't even say that. What you get for being in my eye line? Heather Snow loves you.
I'm sure she does.
And the whole mythical crew. You got some tattoos, too. She's into that. She's got 9 now.
She's got 9.
Keep up your pace. You can maybe catch up with her. Man, after that one tattoo that I got on my butt cheek in your presence while we were making a video of my wife's name, I was like, man, that hurts. Yeah. I'm not signing up for that anytime soon again. But I thought about it. If I could have an instant sleeve,
you don't want that.
Just like that, I would do it. I'd do it.
You don't want an instant sleeve.
Why not?
Because you want the process of the sleeve being filled up.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
Well, it's not like you go up to somebody with the sleeve and you'd be like, is it instant? And no one would ever ask me, so I wouldn't have to explain it.
It doesn't look instant. It looks like it took place over a period of years.
Right.
On purpose.
That is the
actually got it in one sitting.
I think your point is that is what makes a sleeve cool. It's like the implied investment.
The journey.
If you knew that you could get an instant sleeve, then people would start asking, and you might have to tattoo not an instant sleeve as part of your instant sleeve.
I can't say that I recommend mythical themed tattoos, although I definitely appreciate them, and many people have gotten them. In fact, I just saw a guy tweet a day or two ago the GMM logo. I couldn't tell what part of his body it was on, though. No. It could have been thigh, it could have been
it's a flame.
forearm. It was too close. It was just skin, and I couldn't identify it.
It's a flame right above the crack.
It could have been his butt, but
I'd like a fart.
Yeah.
That's called what's that called? That area? The tramp stamp area?
Oh. Yeah, don't get it there.
Actually, in the Book of Mythicality, there is a full spread of me basically naked, covered in tattoos, where we go into detail about where you should get what tattoo.
Well, not only that, but
what it says about you.
What a tattoo is, the intention of a tattoo at the time of tattooing, and then what your grandkids will think about that tattoo, and the conclusions that they will come to you about you, and where you were at in life.
So we're going to help you make the decision on that page of the book. Just the way the long-term consequences of things. But I'm particularly fond of one tattoo there, which I'll go ahead and tell you about. Because once I looked at my tattooed body, I was like, we need something down here at the bottom on the foot. Like the left foot doesn't have anything. And I was like, tube sock tattoo. Which I'm sure has been done, because any tattoo that you can think of
has been done.
It's a challenge to come up with a totally original tattoo. Is it even possible? I don't know. Don't ask me. But if you did ask me, I would say get a tube sock tattoo. So I'm talking about, like, you take your sock and your shoe off, and then there's a tattooed sock there. The thing goes all the way up to, like, the buckle of your knee. Add some stripes. Look like a basketball player from the 60s on that one foot.
How about a glove tattoo? You could also do that.
You could do a glove tattoo. You could do it.
How has Barbara and Jade's relationship progressed? This is from Makeda. That's a great question. I think we talked about this. We never remember where we talk about things, but Barbara and Jade are best friends. These are our dogs, by the way. They're definitely best friends, and it wasn't forced on them. But they spend a lot of time together at work, and most of the time they spend together is just sort of just aggressively playing, so much so that you can't do anything while they're in the room together.
Like if we were Barbara and Jade right now, and I'll be Jade.
I don't want to demonstrate because I have to like bite you all over the face.
I'll be Barbara. So you be Jade. And then I'll come back over here.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like.
She's not a turkey.
A dog
is not a turkey. You're saying gobble.
Oh man, how's my hair? Good gracious.
But they also go to this place together.
Let's call it a kennel, but they call it a pet resort.
Well, yeah, it actually has paradise in the name of it.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice dog resort.
It's got a swimming pool.
And they go,
and lounge chairs.
They stay there with these other dogs, and you can log in and watch them on the live webcams that they have. So if you want to check in on your dog, and like every time you check in, Barbara and Jade are like sleeping next to each other.
I went to pick up. Who went to pick up?
I went to pick Barbara up, and I was like, "How were Barbara and Jade?" And she was like,
"No, that's not what you said." Because the employee just volunteered. She's got a really good friend here.
She's got a good friend here. I was like, "Yeah, Jade." She was like, "Oh, how'd you know?" I was like, "Well, they're best friends." She was like, "Oh, they've just been hanging out the whole time, and we didn't know that they knew each other."
Yeah.
So they go everywhere together, and they sleep next to each other every single night.
I don't mean to keep plugging the book, but I'm just excited about it. We dedicated a whole chapter to Barbara and Jade, and basically, what's the chapter called?
Risk your heart for an animal.
Risk your heart for an animal.
Yeah, I like that.
We did a photo shoot with our dogs. It's ridiculous. I had a dream the other night that Christy gave Jade away. And I was so sad. She gave Jade away to our neighbor. And in my dream, I was at the window, looking out the window, and the neighbors pulled up in the car. And I'm like, oh, Jade's in the car with them. They open the car door, and Jade gets out, and I'm like, oh, yes, now this is when she's going to run out of the car, over here, and come back home to me. And so they open the door, Jade runs out, and just goes right in their house. And I was so upset, no exaggeration, I woke up. I woke like a nightmare. You know how like I never wake up from a nightmare. It never happens to me. And I like woke up in bed, I was like, and some nights she sleeps with us, some nights she's on a rotation. She'll sleep with Lincoln, she'll sleep with Lily, she'll sleep with me and Chris.
Was she there that night?
She was not there that night. And I came this close to getting out of bed and going and getting her out of Lincoln's bed. But then I just went back to sleep. I was like, it's a dream. I'm a grown man.
Yeah. But every dream, everything that is revealed in a dream is based on some real life insecurity.
Christy loves Jade as much as I do. She does not want to get rid of Jade.
She hasn't been dropping any hints?
No.
I think she's been dropping subconscious hints that you're picking up on.
I mean,
your wife.
The only thing we pick up on is the poop that sometimes she leaves in the house, and we do get angry about that. And choked up. We do get angry about it.
Yeah, so they're doing great, and their relationship means so much that there's a Barbara and Jay T-shirt at the Mythical booth, right? Yeah.
Yo, we gotta sell something. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, we got it right here on the. That's a big Barbara exclusive. Red Link Barbara and Jay. Why did Red stop saying golly
Who asked that?
Hugh Danzy?
Why did Rhett stop saying
golly? I don't remember. I don't remember saying golly.
Golly.
Did I used to say it a lot?
That's not you.
Did I used to say that a lot?
Oh yeah, you were. I'm remembering that.
I'm sorry I stopped saying it. I'll start again. Golly. Golly.
Does anyone here remember Rhett ever saying golly? It's a thing?
Oh wow. When did I stop?
They don't know when you stopped.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, must have had some bad fish.
It changed your life. Your vocabulary toolbox was altered permanently from bad fish.
Man, things that you ingest can change your DNA. That's a fact. You get some bad fish, it goes in there, it attaches, it replicates, changes who you are. There's research right now. You wait. You'll remember this. 10 years from now, they'll be talking about bad fish, how it changes how you talk.
That's your vocabulary toolbox.
Yeah. Which all you gotta have is some good fish to get rid of it.
Oh,
to reverse it.
Let's go get some good fish after this.
Okay, we will.
I mean, I'll just eat a tilapia. I don't even care. It doesn't have to.
Farm raised? Farm raised, you can taste the dirt. You ever notice that? You really can. It tastes a little dirty. Tilapia that's been farm raised.
They put them in dirt.
They grow them like potatoes. Oh wow, yeah, that's why it tastes like that.
Sarah in ATL asks us, what are you most excited about for the hashtag tour of Mythicality later this year? I'll see you in Durham, North Carolina. So we got a homecoming at the end of the tour.
Yeah.
Ticket sales went really good, so people will actually be there.
Who's going to be at the tour of Mythicality? Yeah, there are not many tickets left. I think there's a few places that still have tickets. Before we talk about what we're excited about, we'll say that we wish we could go more places, but 16 different places is about all we can fit in and still be sane at this point. But hopefully it goes well, and hopefully we will do it again and get to come to more places and maybe even outside of the U.S. at some point. But I mean, I'm personally excited about, we tend to get very excited about the next thing that we're doing, right? And then kind of putting ourselves into something and making it into something that people will remember. And so the Tour of Mythicality is no different. And it's something that we haven't done in a long, long time. We never did a tour before, but we haven't really done anything live except for the occasional, well, we're doing this. But the Tour of Mythicality is going to be a lot different than this. But we haven't done any live music or any sort of event in a very long time. Because the internet sort of encourages you to create something that you can just put on YouTube and export out to as many people as possible. But so this is kind of approaching something in a totally different way from a creative standpoint. Again, that's something that we need to plan what we're going to do. That's another thing we need to get on.
That's a good point. We should do that.
We know approximately what we're going to do. We need to come up with specifically what we're going to do.
Yes, I think that's what we're excited about at this point, is developing something that will connect with you guys, that then I'm sure will lead to more things that we want to do creatively. Everything you do, when you try something new, it's like, okay, we can add to that, or we can do something different. But right now, it's exciting to be at a phase where it's like, okay, we can invent what we want to do on stage that connects with you guys. So yeah, I think that's it. And on that note, and in closing, I'll say that it is cool to be here and see your faces and get to meet some of you guys later on today. You guys are great mythical beasts, and those of you listening on your way back from almost at Tijuana.
Yeah, now the ocean is on your left. You're heading north
or west, depending on if you're back up towards LA.
Right. Yeah, but then it will straighten back up when you get around Santa Barbara.
But yeah, this has been very fun. I could not think of a better way to celebrate the 100th episode of Ear Biscuits than in this way with you guys, taking your questions and having a conversation.
Yeah, thank you to every one of you who watches our videos and has become a part of this community. You know, the community has grown in ways that we never expected over the past few years, and there were questions about how do you guys feel about the way the community has grown and how you connect with people, and is it the same way that it was 10 years ago? Well, of course, it feels a little bit different than it did 10 years ago when there were a handful of people that we could call our fans and we basically knew them.
Thanks.
We still know some of those people personally who were fans of like the Rhett and Link Cast Live, like way back in the day. That's kind of an impossibility at this point. But I'll say one of the things is that we do know you guys who are really active in the community, who are talking about GMM and mythical things on your Twitter and on Facebook. Like, in fact, everybody as part of our mythical team, like, we know those people who are super active mythical beasts. It's like, we see your tweets, we see you guys talk about stuff, we see you say, I got this, or I got this tattoo, or I just bought this, or I'm excited about Buddy System. Like, we do see all those things, and we see those things personally. We're not always in a position to respond to everything personally, but we definitely feel the love, and of course it's a very tangible love right now that we can feel when we're in the same room with you guys. And that's another thing that we're excited about, is we get to come around, meet you guys today at 5 o'clock, and also as we come around the country in the fall on the tour of Mythicality.
Thank you for being your mythical best. Do the Technical Drop.